Like when we look at fences?
You know what's pretty awesome? So I worked over in Florence at Western Lane, and I legitimately can say that I got to transport somebody that was attacked by a shark. There's not many people in the world that can
In
say
Florence?
in Florence, on the jetty. And the funny thing was, is like we're going out there, and they're like, "Yeah, this guy got bit by a shark," and we're like. So we're thinking, holy cow, this is Jaws. This is happening to Jaws. So what do we show up on? I mean, this was my call to fame, right? We show up on that right there. I'm like, I hop out, and it was a kid from California that was up, and total surfer. Dude, it was awesome, man. And so what do? Dude, no way. Like kind of making fun of him, kind of nod at the same time, right? But yeah, so laceration. So like. When you get things in your mind, you're like, okay, this is gonna be bad. And then you walk through the door and you're like, really? We're here for that? Because people's perception of bad injuries and bad blood is different than what ours is, right? Can they underestimate sometimes? Where you're like, oh, hey, you're going on, like we go on alpha, which is like non-emergent stuff, alpha ankle injury. And we show up and it's completely angulated and the bone is poking through the skin. And we're like, oh, that's not what we were expecting on this call, right? So how are we going to treat this leg right here?
Pressure, direct pressure.
Is it bleeding?
Well, it's in the hospital and then she's cleaned up.
We're going to say this is how she presents. You want to present clean.
If she presents like that, I want to know why it's not bleeding.
So a lot of the times, a lot of these won't bleed very much. Like if you can have a laceration where you just have full fatty tissue that basically lines the injury site, which you can kind of see here on both of these, and basically it'll kind of ooze a little bit, right? Now if you get in there and you start pushing it back and forth, like as you start to wrap things, it's gonna start to bleed a little bit more, right? The ones that will bleed more are the things like this, where you're gonna get these small little ones versus these large ones. Like a lot of times if you damage capillaries and stuff, those capillaries will basically just shear off, and then they have the elasticity that kind of shunts their own stuff. Kind of like they talk about like the femoral arteries, like they slice off and then they suck up in there. You guys seen Black Hawk Down?
Yeah.
Totally not true how that all went down. That's I don't know if you guys heard that story?
The movie?
Yes.
Are you talking about that specific moment?
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys. I'll tell you guys about it. Maybe I'll get together when he comes up and talks about it. Okay, so basically we're going to put ABD pads, 5x9s, we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to deliver it to the hospital, right? Irrigate, keep it clean. Avulsions, basically the ripping or tearing of the skin. They're non-symmetrical, almost like somebody took a big old bite out of it, right? Like some big old zombie took a big old bite there. How are we going to manage this thing?
Clean it. Pressure.
Sterilize.
Irrigate, clean it up, wrap it up,
Transport.
Transport.
and deliver.
There you go. All packaged.
Riding a motorcycle on the back, barefoot, suck their foot up into the sprocket, or not the sprocket, the spokes. Hey, had a bad day?
Could be worse.
Are they gonna die? Can they lose their foot?
Yes.
Is this an emergency?
Yes.
Is this a trauma activation? Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Why? Give me the criteria.
It's emulsion. Isn't it? That's not possible.
Has to be proximal to the ankle.
It's the ankle.
So is this an amputation? Is this an
No,
amputation?
it's not an amputation.
Okay. Would you
I mean,
guys
a
consider
healing.
this a degloving injury?
Hard.
Yeah, it degloved from the heel forward.
It took the calcaneus off, it looks like.
It looks like
How about that?
That's definitely
That's the
So it's not a trauma activation.
Yeah.
So you got that versus that. So you guys are like, nah. But this one, oh, this definitely. Right?
I don't think you'd be called out on it if you called it a trauma activation. The doctor said that's not a trauma.
I agree completely. That looks enough like a degloving type of an injury basically the glove did
The entire
ish.
bottom of the foot
I
is
know.
gone.
And it left you a little flap to say, hey, here I am. I'm still hanging on here, right? So I would probably call this a trauma activation, okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you go back to that other decluttering? The one with the pins in it?
Kris is gonna need a surgeon. Ortho, is plastics, they're gonna need multiple surgeons to fix that.
I thought for trauma activation, it had to be proximal to the ankles and wrists.
Amputation,
Just amputation?
amputations.
Okay.
So so if it's amputated, proximal to wrist or the ankle, then it's a trauma activation. But degloving injury
Is anything?
isn't anything.
Okay.
Yep. And so that's why I asked, is this an amputation?
Yeah.
Because I was seeing if anybody would bite on that. All right, penetrating injuries, puncture wounds. This can be anything, right? Somebody gets stabbed. So one of the calls I had was a gal was at the far end of the javelin pit, and somebody had thrown it, and they were walking back. And what do javelin throwers do? They always throw them along on the ground, and they send them back that way. Well, apparently that's what they do. I'm not a big track guy. But apparently what happened is this person threw it, and as it was skidding, it hit just perfectly, and it jumped up, and it stuck right through this person's, right through their, like, front of their, side of their calf. Yeah, came in this direction like that. So what do you do for that?
Cut it, support it, transfer it.
For a second, it was actually somebody that I knew. My brother went to high school with him. I was like, dude, do you realize you have a javelin in your leg? Like, of course, I could never take anything serious. Everybody knows me by that. And they're just like, yeah, I know. I'm like, so, should we take pictures or should we take care of you?
What do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, what do you, and so
Pictures
we ended up
first.
cutting it. So we used a little hacksaw. So we had like 7 people holding this javelin put while this person was like laying there, and we used a hacksaw and just cut it off really quick. And the funny thing was, you know how I did this thing? It's no joke. You're trying to figure out, you're like, okay, so we're gonna rotate you on your right side, lift your leg up, bend it at the knee, and we'll transport you that way so that the weight and the bouncing and everything doesn't affect it. So that's a type of a puncture wound that's still in place, right? So you're gonna have puncture wounds like this where boom, you step on something, a nail, and then it comes right back out. All right? There's not a whole lot we do for those. Let's see if I got that other puncture. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So bite wounds, that's a bite. Cat, dog, human. I kid you not. I kid you not, we'll go on people that are having allergic reactions to spider bites. I think I've heard 3 of those in the last week. And so you'll go on these things where you'll have these crazy wounds kind of thing. Why does it look like? Why does it look like this?
It looks infection.
Sick or not sick?
Sick.
Could this person die?
Yes.
Why?
Sepsis.
Okay. So that's the common mistake that people make is they don't pay enough attention. They're like, oh, you got a spider bite. Yeah, great, awesome. Like you're wasting our time calling 911 for this. It's like, check their vitals, check their temperature, make sure they're not septic, make sure they're not gonna die, make sure they're not gonna end up like the gal that we had in the one where she cut her foot on the beach and they sent her to urgent care and ends up dead.
Would you lance that on location right there at the hospital?
We don't do any lancing. We don't do any of that. That's another reason why my kids don't like needles. 'Cause I have this ganglionic cyst that I've had on my wrist forever, so I'll take needles home with me and I'll be like, I'll pop it. And of course they're like, they're doing like one of these as I'm doing it, like trying to watch. They don't want to watch. They're like, I don't want to watch, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
You don't wanna watch, but you wanna watch it.
We've
at the
been
same
there,
time.
Mark.
Right.
Yeah. I've got one on my finger too, it's gotten for me.
Yeah. Did he lance it or did he do the whole Bible thump thing?
No, it's in the groove, so he punctured it.
Yeah, my whole crew was trying to get me to do the whole
Bible thump.
Bible thump thing.
The
I'm like, dude, you guys are gonna break my wrist because you guys are gonna hit it so hard that it's not gonna funny. So
Wait, no, what?
Try to explode it?
it's a Bible. They call it the Bible thump. They take like a book, a big heavy book, where like you'd use like if this was the size of a book or a piece of wood or something, if it's really heavy, and you just come up and so if it's like right there, you would just come up and you would take it and you would just someone would be like, okay, ready, 1, 2, wham, and they'd hit it as hard as they could. And it explodes the cyst and makes it so that your body absorbs it. But I tried to get my, she was probably 10 at the time. I'm like, okay. So I like set my hand up there, I'm like, all right, this is what you need to do. I'm like, take that book. She's like, what? She goes, I go, hit it right there. I go, it's either that or I'm gonna drain it again. She goes, okay. Something like that. And she's like, I'm like, right, she's getting ready to do it. I'm like, no. Yo, hold on. Here, see this little dot right here see if you can hit that. She goes to hit it, misses it by like that far. I'm like, nope. Just gonna drain it. All right, high pressure injection injuries. These happen commonly on construction sites, right? Boom. Oh, the old nail gun. This is bad, right? This is bad.
So you always look to see if it's clogged.
Yeah. So you always just be like, hey, this isn't working, right? So let's say that this nail is sticking out. So it's sticking out kind of below the nose, upper lip. Yep, at all. Right? How are we going to manage that?
Secure it. Stabilize it.
Don't sneeze.
ABCs.
There we go. Right? I was waiting for you. Right? So, airway breathing circulation. Is this an airway potential?
Yes.
All right. Is this a breathing potential?
Yeah.
Is this a head injury potential?
Yes.
Is this something that we need to be rated RSI?
Yes.
Okay.
With lidocaine.
With lidocaine. Good. All right, so no single treatment. There's a lot of stuff that people do to treat all the different types of wounds. Frequently, the most common ones, antibiotics, dressings, skin grafts. Skin grafts are super susceptible to infections.
Debridement, what is that?
So debridement, so if you got this wound that's like kind of like in the healing process and it needs to be cleaned, so they'll take the scrub brush and scrub it out really good, clean it out.
So they'll like remove the scab and everything?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, they commonly do that with burn patients. They'll go in there and they'll take off some of the skin. Alright, antibiotics, different types of patients. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, that is.
Okay? Sick?
Yeah.
Is it bleeding?
Not
No, but
currently.
it doesn't look like the
Partial
knee
amputation. I would
is
call that a partial amputation.
long. It looks like an internal.
Trauma activation?
Is that right?
Yes.
Looks like
It's bleeding at the bottom quite a bit.
Badass.
Skin flaps? Skin all over the place? What is this?
Elbow.
No.
That's
Yeah.
elbow.
That's an
Oh,
elbow.
it's like
That's
a,
a baby.
yeah, that's a small little. That's too
That's
bad.
not a baby.
That's not a baby. That's a
No,
That's not
that's
a
not.
baby.
overweight person.
Yeah, it's bariatric. Look at the size of the hand.
It looks like a bed sore, is what that looks like. It's like just a giant bed sore. So it's probably laying over this way, potential. How are we managing these in the pre-hospital setting?
Gauze, wrap.
Wrap them up and deliver them, right? What? Okay, take a quick break, like a quick 2-3 minute break, go to the bathroom, get something to